everyone, welcome to the Voice of Charon Healing Podcast. I am Almighty Servant Charon, here to let you know you are power, you are light, you are loved.
So you guys, today I was taking the dog for a walk, okay? And I took a different path today. And on this path, I saw all of these different levels of understanding, perspective, if I should put it that way. Okay, so let's talk about perspectives, okay, you guys? Now, this is coming into why we shouldn't judge and all these other things as well, all right? Okay, here we go. So I was walking the dog, and then when I was walking the dog, it was a house, okay, on the corner. And as I was coming along this house on the corner, it turned from real grass to fake grass, you know, that turf grass that people put down. Okay, so it turned into that turf grass, and I'm looking at this turf grass, and I'm like, you know, and we're walking the dog, and then the dog's whatevering, and it's the turf grass, and then I'm looking at it, and I'm like, you know, turf grass is not real. But then there was this beautiful tree, and this beautiful tree has this really light green new tree growing out of it. So the big brown tree with the strong roots has a little tiny branch of a new tree that's literally green growing out of it, a stem, okay? So, you know, I was like, oh, you know, I touched the big tree and then I touched the little tree and I was like, oh, hi, I love you. Look at you, you know, living and thriving and coming out of nowhere, even though it's not nowhere, it's literally a rooted tree. Okay, so I was appreciating that tree, and I'm walking and I'm looking at the fake grass turf, and you know, and I'm moving it along. And then I get down two more houses, and then I see a pretty little lemon tree. Okay, they just planted it. It was maybe, let's say, not 6 feet, maybe 3 feet high, okay? And there were all these lemons on it though, right? It was 3 feet high. It looked more like a bush. It was so little, right? And then there was this black little pole next to it, I guess to guarantee that it gets water, right? And I was like, oh, look at that, right? And I was like, look at this beautiful grass, you know, it's real grass. And they have that real tree with the real fruit that'll nourish and help feed people. Oh, how beautiful this is, right? They're bringing life into this world, right? And then I'm thinking of the turf thing, and I'm like, that fake. And I look back at the turf grass, and it was actually smashed together. Part of it was smashed up, so it really looked like a carpet. You know how there's carpet, if you have a carpet laid down and then you, like, say you slide and then it smashes together and bunches up. That's how part of the grass turf was looking. So it was like literally looked fake, like fake carpet grass, okay? And I was like, you know, looking down on it a little bit like, the fake grass turf, right? Compared to this beautiful place now where there's like the lemon tree and the real grass and all this, and it was evident that they water the tree and they nourish the tree and all that stuff and their whole lawn, right? And I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. And they had this like wall of bushery that prevented me from seeing the next house as I was walking along, right? But once I passed that shrubbery, that little bush tree wall that was blocking the neighbor's yard, it was like an immediate change. And now the grass was dry here. It was brittle. It was brown. There were patches. And then I looked up, and by the house, there was actually a garden as well. But it was so dry that like all the leaves and everything that was on those garden plants, whatever they were like brittle and all hung over and looked like a dry, shriveled up. Say there's a strawberry, right? And then it's shriveled up. You don't even know it's a strawberry. It's just all shriveled up and dry and crinkled. What was it? Like if you touch it, it looked like it'll turn to dust and fall to the ground or break off. It was brittle, like just like, I'm not going to say death, but like no life. It was like, ugh. It was like an eyesore, especially after passing the yard before that with the luscious grass and then the beautiful lemon tree just sitting there, you know, growing vibrantly with all this fruit producing off of it. And then you pass, and then immediately it's like a dry zone, Sahara desert of whatever. Grass is dry and brittle, and it looks like everything's just crumbling and dying, right? And I was like, oh, right? And then I thought about the importance of water, okay? Now, you know, I'm always tying something into something. So what I'm going to tie into right now, you guys, It's perspectives of people and perspectives of situations, okay? Because when I walked by the first patch of grass, that was what? Not patch of grass, the first yard of grass. It was what I said, turf, right? So like fake, just wanting to be there for appearance, right? And a person would be like, that's just there for appearance, but not really contributing life or substance to the world, just so a person can look good artificially, right? But not really bringing life to earth, right? Okay, that was the first thing. And then the next one looks like, oh, this beautiful, luscious place is just bringing life to the earth. There was even a water hose, and even the water hose that was on its little ring thing, but the hose part was on the grass. Even the hose part was faced towards the lemon tree. Like, I know that I'm here to water you and give you life. You're so appreciative and worthy of life because your owners water you and appreciate you, and they cherish you, right? So even we want to water you right now, even though we're sitting here off the water hose, right? Everything was abundantly for that little lemon tree on that luscious yard. And then on the other, right next to it, was this dry, barren, like, please, somebody give me water. Oh my God. Right? Right. Okay. Now, when I stared at the barren part, you guys, though, the barren yard, I was like, goodness gracious, this is horrible, right? But even in that barren yard, you guys, there was one little round tomato trying to grow. And it looked like maybe a cherry tomato. It looked like a real tomato trying to grow even through those harsh conditions, okay? And then it brought me to thinking of appreciation, okay? Now, see, I'm going to go back to my relationships, okay? And I was talking about the twin flame relationship and how, there were some bad things, whatever bad things, but some because of people's trauma, and some is not, and what to accept, and they're trying to have joy, but then also knowing that you have to go away, and then finding appreciation for things and all this stuff, right? So that can be kind of confusing. So I'm going to give you a sense of things that you can appreciate. So you guys, one time when I was with this person, I went to visit, right? So we were away, and when we were away, he had all these bottles of alkaline water, right? And some other things, food and this and that and that and that and that. And you guys, on the last day of our trip, he said to me, you haven't been drinking any water. Why haven't you been drinking any water? And I was like, huh? Like, I didn't even notice. I'm just living my life. Yeah, I don't drink water a lot. I try to sometimes, but I'm pretty shady on drinking the water, right? Water's good for you. It helps your veins and everything else. But I've been shady with it. I'm not going to lie. And it was proof. He witnessed that at the end of the trip. He was like, you haven't been drinking any water. Why not? And I was like, whatever, like it doesn't matter. Like, blah, 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 blah. My little shallow slough it off like I always do. And he actually took the time to give me a whole analogy about the flowers, for example. And he was like, you have to nourish and water your body. You have to hydrate your body. He was like the flowers and the plants and the trees, they need the water to grow and be healthy and thrive. And you have to nourish your body with the water. You have to feed your body the water, like a beautiful flower. You need to, like, he took time. I mean, I'm not saying it as good as he did, but he literally took time to give me a whole story and give importance on how I should water my body, how I should nourish and hydrate my body, how I should appreciate my body with water, how it was important for me, how it was needed. He took the time. Now I'm talking about how some things were like taken away, or the energy was off, or whatever. Or maybe he was lying, or maybe he was cheating, or maybe he was too hurt to actually be in a relationship. Maybe he was, wanting things but not being able to give them back in certain ways or whatever, right? But I thought in that moment, as I'm looking at all these examples of grasses, how he literally took the time to convince me and put into me how important it was for me to hydrate my body, because my body, my presence here was so important. So you see, not everything that you go through, you guys, is completely negative. There's always something positive in it. Because in that moment, even right then, I heard him saying that. And then I remember, let me keep drinking my water. I mean, I had been trying to, but it implanted again how important it is for me to hydrate myself. And I was able to see so purely how much better that one yard looked that actually watered its plants. Okay. But let's go here again, you guys. So going back to it. the yard that looked barren or whatever, it was one tomato still like, you know what? I'm coming to life. I don't care if it's no water. Whatever water is here, I'm sucking that crap up and I will thrive. Even if I'm the only one on this dang plant, I'm going to thrive, right? A beautiful example of life and overcoming and finding a way. You guys remember that. Next, the other one, I told you what I noticed the most after noticing the whole beauty of it was that even the water hose understood the vibration of the love and the intention of watering and nourishing that tree and the whole yard so it could flourish and thrive. That energy, that frequency was so vibrant on that yard, on their property, that even the water hose I know it was just thrown down, or it fell off. Even it on the ground, its spout where the water shoots out was facing and like even about a foot or two towards that lemon tree. Like when we love ourselves truly, when we nourish and we water ourselves truly, the universe, God, everything around us will find a way to nourish us as well. Will be excitedly waiting to nourish us as well. Okay. Now let's go to the first house. The first house, in a way, you could say I was snubbing my nose at, because I was like, a person would be like, oh, that's fake grass. They're shallow and just want the appearance, but it's not really helping the world thrive in any way. It's not really helping the earth. It's not feeding the earth. It's not this, that. It's fake. It's whatever, right? But look, when I was walking back, thinking that a little bit, kind of, I noticed that there were two trees on the sidewalk part of this house, okay? And where those two trees were, yeah, the fake grass turf was on that, right? The fake grass turf was on that. But by the trees, you guys, there was about 3 to 4 feet of dirt. So it was like a rectangle that they had cut off where they had no grass turf at. And it was just dirt and then the tree. So the tree had its space and then there was nature. The earth was right there out and exposed for the tree. So they were respectful enough, aware enough to have the turf opened up enough so sunlight can not only hit the tree, but hit the soil. So water could get into that soil easier to get to the tree. Like when I'm thinking about it now, that was such great awareness, and appreciation for the tree so the tree could be watered. And you guys, it was like that on both trees, like 3 to 4 feet of dirt in a rectangle on both sides of the tree. So it had space to receive life, to receive air, to receive sunlight, to receive water, to receive all these things, to receive doggies peeing on it, which is a form of food for, for some trees and things like that. Okay. So that's so beautiful. But then what ticked me on a whole other level is that intention of what they did. And even if it wasn't intention, it had to be, because why would you leave like it was so planned? Like, why would you leave that? Whoever designed that yard, the architect of that landscaping, probably thought of that. So much love to you for appreciating the tree. And that appreciation worked, you guys. Why? Because what did I say in the beginning? When I walked by that tree, one of them that was there was a green new tree coming up. It was so new, baby new. It was about maybe 3 feet high, right? But it was about maybe, a walking cane. That's like how thick it was. But it was green. It was lime green. It was a new life, new tree coming out of that. So that tree was so nourished in a way, so appreciated, felt so free to thrive, felt like it was getting what it needed so much that a new tree was able to start growing out of the original tree. And that is such a beautiful thing. And when I thought of that, you guys, I cannot tell you how much joy and sparkles was just going through my whole body. And then I got the thought to do this episode and remind you guys that we are not to judge, and there's greatness in everything. And even if we don't understand, like, there's beauty in every single thing, and every single thing has its purpose, and every single person is on a different level of understanding, a different level of life experience, a different level of this, that. So what is happening in their lives is good and perfect for them. And they will grow from it, learn from it. Even the harsh things, they will rise above it. They might hold them down for a while, but I mean, I hope we all rise above it. Some people don't, but everything serves its purpose, you guys, okay? And every single thing on here is to be appreciated. Every single thing. All right. I hope that made some sense to you. If it didn't, that was the message. I love you. Love yourself. No matter how you look, no matter what you think of yourself, no matter how you think you might be falling behind or not as important or this or that, know that you are vital to this earth. Okay? Forget the world. The world can be very trifling and tricky and illusionary. To earth, so love yourself. Water yourself, not only with literal water, but water yourself with love, true appreciation of yourself and others. Okay, you guys? I love you.
I am the voice of Charon, an almighty servant of God, okay? I love you, love yourself, love everyone. You are power, you are light, you are loved. Make sure you subscribe to the Voice of Charon Healing Podcast, where I speak about any and everything as soon as it comes to my heart. You are power, you are light, you are loved.
This episode is sponsored by Fearless Glory Publishing. Take the first step towards a life of true forgiveness and love with our best-selling book, It All Comes Up to Love, How to Truly Forgive via God's Source, Our Creator. Order your copy today at ebook.almightyservant.com.